Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Even Lease, and today on 10 Minutes or Less Ship Review, I'm going to be taking a look at the Constellation Taurus, the medium freight variant of the Constellation series. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with the exterior of the Constellation Taurus, this is the latest in the Constellation series, but by latest I do mean the last few years. The Constellation has been known in Star Citizen for a very long time. Its design is semi-outdated, especially in the interior, just due to basically never really being updated. Even with this version coming out, they kind of just threw it together. They didn't add any of today's elements with the ship releases, and you know how everybody just loves the cockpit view with every single beam possible and strut blocking as much as possible, but we'll look at that in a minute. On the exterior here, for firepower, you do have 4 size 4 CF447 Rhino repeaters that are pilot controlled. You see one right there, there's one on the other side, and then 2 on the bottom. Now those are gimbaled, so that is quite a lot of firepower. You also have 24 size 2 missiles on this thing, which deploy from the top, and they are the Strike Force 2s. Now, outside of that, you do have a manned upper turret on this that comes with 2 CF227 Badgers. As you can see on screen, the view isn't bad from that either. And then here on the bottom, you do have a deployable turret that has a tractor beam, which is pretty sweet. So if you're out, hauling cargo, or if you're out doing salvage or something, you can get on that and load up your cargo bay, which is right over here. Speaking of which, you do have 2 entrances to this ship on ground entrances, and then you also have 2 docking collars, one on each side, which I will show you when we go into the interior of the ship, because I would really love to show you. But first and foremost, this cargo bay here is deployable from the rear. If you go over here, hit this button, it can fit pretty much, I wouldn't say any ground vehicle. It can't fit the ballista chassis. It cannot fit the tanks. But it can fit the rock, and it can fit every other type vehicle. So you can fit the Ursa Rover or the Cyclones or, any one of those in here, which is great. And probably quite a few of them, too. I mean, that's a lot of space. So, gotta love that, and holy cow, let's not let that freak out for any longer. The ship does have VTOL thrusters. They're on the front here as well on the side on the landing gear right here. Now, as you can see on screen, if you were to press K, those deploy, and it helps you, land or elevate. It just helps you gain altitude or, land your craft. I currently am just having the worst brain freeze on everything I want to say. So let's move on to the interior of this ship. There's really zero functionality in here. You do have a sofa you can sit on. I feel like used to be able to deploy this, but now I can't seem to deploy it. I can only seem to get it lit up when doing this, but it doesn't do anything still. And when you sit down, really, you can't really have it deployed anyways because your feet are kind of in the way. So that's kind of a bummer. It is kind of a interesting sitting area. You have some over-the-head storage here. You also have a bunch of other storage lockers here. So, good to have those. You have some, looks like weapon lockers, and also a bathroom. Yay! Bathroom with no crapper. You just crap on the floor and scoot it right into that little entry hole right there. And as well as a shower. I don't enter bathrooms anymore. This just feels like someone just took a porta potty and threw it in here. Laziness. You have 4 beds in here. It has the same old issue as the Freelancer series, where you have many more beds than you pretty much are going to have crew on this ship, because you have 4 beds. You walk into the cockpit here sometime today. You have 3 seats here, which doesn't make too much sense to me because this pilot-controlled weapons. You have a manned turret up top, a manned turret on the bottom for tractor control. The 2 co-pilot seats don't make too much sense to me. I feel like this ship's just got a lot of space, and so they're just throwing as much crew as possible in here. But hey, cool. The more friends you have, the more you can bring along, and they all have a chair to share, right? So you have a lot of neat design on this ship, including the famous "I'm going to trip and kill myself" wire on the ground here, that you trip, bang your head on the corner of the turret area here, the turret ring, and bleed out on the ground. Thank God for the med pack to the left that you cannot use. Oh, that's life support. Either way. You do have some components in here, but you can't access them. Like I said, a lot of things in this ship just aren't accessible. Moving on to the rear, this is the cargo bay, probably the newest portion of this ship, even though a lot of it's the same. They had to extend it a bit on this ship because it does carry 174 SCU, which is impressive. And not all of it goes right here. Real quick, I want to show you this. So here's a lot of your rockets. They're on each side. So you got them there and you got them over there. So that's pretty cool. They go up, they fire. But this airlock here is the type of airlock that if you open it and there is somebody on the outside, they will get freaking killed, as that flies open at Mach 5. So make sure when you're opening that, nobody is EVAing right by your ship, unless you're trying to catapult them into the deepest depths of space. But that's pretty cool. Oh my god, that just closed faster than ever. The amount of sound that would have made would have been just deafening. More so in this area, you have more component areas that are just not accessible, including over here. Just a lot of can't do nothing. You got your you got your trap there, the airlock. And of course, like I said, that's your cargo bay. You can deploy it from the inside as well. Once you crawl down, you can just hit the button on the side. But if you move towards the back here, you have more components. And then a secret room back here. Not very secret because it has a big old door. This is shielded cargo, which is really cool. So any cargo in here would be technically shielded from being scanned. So if security were to pull you over and they scanned your ship, they ain't gonna see what's in there. So make sure if you're hiding the drugs to hide them in there. Just don't let the security force on your ship, because all they have to do is take a nice little walk down washout lane and pick up the rest of your life sentence. I'm gonna move over to the pilot seat really quick. We're gonna hop in, take off, fly for a moment. I will let you know right now, this thing has 3,000 quantum fuel, which is pretty decent for the type of ship it is. The ship is priced at $200 if you didn't get it earlier before the price increase. You can find home here with the Robert Space Industries very industrial looking Constellation Taurus. It's not a terrible ship at all. Let's go ahead and take off really quick. Engines sound fantastic. This thing flies like a whale, just to let you know. It should. When you take off and you take the landing gear, as you can see, those go back. That's pretty cool. I like that. But as it should fly like a whale. It's a big ship. It's a big ship, and it's not meant to be a heavy fighter or something. So having that amount of firepower and it flying decently would be vastly overpowered, but it doesn't fly decently. This thing flies like a whale. It's fast in atmosphere, mostly. It's not that maneuverable, which, I mean, oh well, right? You can still fight with this thing. You can bring this thing on player versus AI bounties. You could maybe even bounty hunt with against real players. I wouldn't, but that's just me. I personally wouldn't. I'm going to give this ship a... this is really tough. It needs its pass, right? So without that pass, but taking into account the cargo, the firepower, the quantum fuel, everything else, it's a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10, but needs that pass. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this ship down in the comments below, and if you have one or you plan on getting one. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.